We're going to have a go this morning at explaining, as Johnny said, we've been looking at, in particular, some Louis Giglio DVDs recently, one called Indescribable and one called How Great Is Our God. And they just really spoke to us as we were watching them. Can I put this down? I can't see you over there. And so what I've done is I've looked at them both and I've tried to sort of take a bit from each and listen to what else God was saying as well. And so what I talk about this morning is basically a summary of those two DVDs. If you've seen them, excellent, you'll know what I'm on about. If you haven't seen them, I'd perhaps encourage you to get hold of a copy as well, because they're really, really good. I've also got quite a few images that I want to try and show you, and just to get the message across. So I just hope it all works. It's all sort of sorted out. We'll have to see how it goes. But I just want to start. It might seem completely off the point, but yesterday there's a bunch of us from this church that went out for a bike ride. I know some of you know that there's, I think there's 8 of us, plus Chaz in a car, which is fantastic. I wish I'd have gone for the car option. But there's 8 of us that are going out for a bike ride. We are riding Land's End to John O'Groats, bottom of England to top of Scotland. And after yesterday, I'm sort of regretting agreeing to do it. If you think I'm walking a little bit funny this morning, that's probably why. We went for a 100-mile bike ride yesterday. And by the end of it, I was struggling. I think Aaron was towing me home in the end, really. So I'd need to get a bit more practice in. But just going around yesterday, 100 miles on our bike, and we barely left Northamptonshire, just did a bit of a circuit. But it just helped sort of illustrate the size of this sort of Great Britain that we're in. And the 100 miles that we're going to be doing 120 a day for 8 days to get from the bottom of England to the north of Scotland. And that's just Great Britain. And just going on my bike ride yesterday, it made me sort of realise the scale of Earth and the scale of Great Britain. And when you think of that's just Great Britain, and you think of all the other countries and how long it takes you to travel to get from A to B, and just a little thought of, think how big this Earth is that we actually live on, and how small we are, and how small individuals we are. And actually, the number of people that have ever lived before us, there's 6 billion is there on the Earth today, and the number of people that have ever lived before us, and the number of people that will come after us, we are just one person in this massive Earth. And yet, that's just Earth. And what I'm going to talk to you about today, you probably guessed from the PowerPoint, from the background and everything, and the title of today is Indescribable. And we're looking at the heavens and God's creation. And Earth is absolutely nothing in comparison to what God has created. So I'm going to show you a few images and a little clip and things like that. And I wanted to start by just comparing Earth to the sun and just seeing the sort of the difference between the two. So if we go to the first one, I think is the Earth. So there is our picture of our Earth, and you may know your geography, what you can see there and then, but Earth being a big place in itself. The sun, in comparison, is 93 million miles away. Now, that would be a long bike ride if I was going to try and do that one, but 93 million miles away, that is incomprehensible already. We haven't even started yet, and that's just a massive number. There's bigger numbers to come. But 93 million miles away, I've just got a few facts that I've got about the sun down here. 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface of the sun. It's a bit like billions and billions of nuclear bombs going off every second. It's not some bright, shining light in the sky that's just giving us a nice summer now and again. Apparently we're in for a good one this year, but that's what they say every year, isn't it? But it's more than that. It's a raging inferno. It's fire. Something else I've got just to illustrate the size of it. Actually, we've got Rockies in with us this morning. I thought I could just borrow a couple for an illustration. So you've got two Rockies that want to come out and just do something. You just have to stand still. Come on. You just have to stand at the front, that's all. It's Nathan, isn't it? Nathan? Thomas. Nathan, Thomas. We've got someone else then? Nathan. Thomas, do you want to come and stand? You see that black line just there? Just stand on the end. We've got another one. One shoe. And another Rocky just needs to come and stand over here for me. Come on. Go on, just come and stand here for me. You don't have to do anything, just smile. Be pretty. There we go. If the Earth was a golf ball, the size of a golf ball, that being the Earth, I thought about painting it all blue and green and that, but I thought it was a bit too much. The sun would be the size, it would be 15 kilometres in diameter. 15 feet in diameter. Okay, so that to that is about 15 feet. I measured it this morning. And if you popped the Earth in between, that is the size of the Earth, and that would be the size of the sun. So Earth in comparison to the sun is tiny. Thank you, you two. You may take your seats. Well done. So it's just something to show the scale of the Earth to the sun. I think I've got a couple more facts in here. It's 1 million times bigger than the Earth. Yet, despite the fact that it is this raging ball of fire, we'll get the scripture up, please, Adam. It says in the scriptures that this was just spoken into being by God. I have to skip through. Next one. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, their starry host by the breath of his mouth. God just said. He just breathed it out, and that came out his mouth. That came into being just through God saying, I command light. I command the sun. He just spoke it. It's just a little glimpse of how big God is and how amazing God is that would come out of his mouth just through words. That is just the sun. If we can put the clip on, Adam, the DVD clip. We've got a little clip here that just gives I've basically skipped from the sun to the biggest star that's been found so far. There are massive stars, but this is the biggest one so far. And this little DVD clip just gives you, I'm just going to talk while it's going on, it just shows you the size of each star. The ones that they found is probably not all of them, but it's going through bit by bit. The biggest one that they've found so far is called the Canis Majoris. And there's a few facts about that as well. It is 500,000 times brighter than the sun. 500,000 times brighter. Look at the Earth compared to Neptune, it's just tiny already. 500,000 times brighter. It is 30 to 40 times bigger than the sun. Canis Majoris, 30 to 40 times bigger, which is 2,800 million kilometres in diameter. I could get a couple of rockets to come and demonstrate that as well, but you won't have them home for lunch because they'll be quite a long way away. 2,800 kilometres in diameter, this Canis Majoris is. I heard a fact. If a passenger jet was to travel around the Canis Majoris on the surface at 900 kilometres per hour, which I think is probably how fast they go, it would take it 1,100 years just to go around once. And you can see the Earth and that, they just pale they disappear off the size of it. It's amazing to look at. And these are just the small ones, sort of the average ones. And the Canis Majoris is the one that they found so far. No doubt in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, with better telescopes, they'd have found even bigger ones and even more amazing stuff. It also says, now I didn't work this out, but apparently you could fit 7 quadrillion Earths inside the Canis Majoris. I don't even know what a quadrillion is, but it's big. It's bigger than a million and bigger than a billion. I think it's lots of billions. 7 quadrillion Earths, proper full-size Earths, would fit inside it. That's the Canis Majoris. And then it just shows you the next little, pause it after that, it pans back out and shows you what it would look like in comparison with the other ones. You got the next, is it carrying on? I think it just is talking at this point. And you can't even see Earth. I don't think you can even see sun. It's just got a tiny little arrow pointing to the sun. And just me watching this, there we go, the sun's down there somewhere. It's just absolutely massive. And yet the sun is absolutely massive in comparison to the Earth. And the Earth's actually pretty big as well when you start cycling around it as well. So yeah, it's just something to help us understand the size of the universe. Now that is just a star. I just picked a big star out. Now, the Canis Majoris is one massive, massive star, but yet it is only one of billions of stars.